Hello, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here.
I am Kayla King.
These are the top stories we're tracking. Jagdeo commits to making oil production statements available to media. Mystery boat with decomposed bodies disappears. 4 Mazaruni prisoners cut their way to freedom. And 20 days since Exxon increased flaring, Harman signals he won't advocate against flaring because AFC and Dr. Adams have said enough. Meanwhile, roaming car bandits pounce on East Coast Demerara residents, and a man who went missing found floating in river. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundled together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
And now for the news in detail. Vice President Dr. Bara Jagdeo on Monday, February 8th, committed to reporters that the administration would make monthly oil production statements available to the press. He said that the monthly production can basically be inferred from reports on Guyana's share and how often it received them. The Vice President encouraged the media to request the statements. He even shared a sample of a production statement with the press.
And now let's tell you, it appears that the mystery boat spotted on Monday afternoon drifting offshore Guyana with what appeared to be decomposing bodies might have disappeared. The vessel was first seen around 14 hours 4 by a supply vessel contracted by ExxonMobil, which is operating in the area. Crew members forwarded photos to MARAD along with key details of the boat's location. Efforts were being made to tow the vessel to Port Georgetown, where further investigations would have been carried out. However, according to a joint press conference held last evening by Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel and the Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben, searches were conducted to locate the vessel, but it was not found.
In other news, a manhunt has been launched to locate 4 high-profile convicts that yesterday morning escaped from the Mazaruni prison, Region 7, by cutting the bars of their cell. The escaped prisoners have been identified as 25-year-old Imran Wamsewak, 44-year-old Kenrick Light, 36-year-old Samuel Gavaya, and 28-year-old Rayon Jones. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of the 4 escapees is asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 455-2238, 455-2222, 911, or the nearest police station. All information will be treated with the strictest confidence.
And now let's tell you, opposition leader Joseph Harman has signaled that he will not advocate against ExxonMobil's increased flaring at their Liza Destiny operations. He said that the AFC and former EPA head, Dr. Vincent Adams, have said enough. However, checks prove Harman's statements inaccurate, since we have not seen or heard any statements from him or the APNU condemning Exxon's increased flaring. In fact, the only political agencies condemning the flaring were the government and the AFC, the other party forming the coalition.
And now let's tell you, over the weekend, roaming car bandits have pounced upon 2 East Coast Demerara residents in the confines of their home, robbing them of cash and other valuables. Shireen Khan was robbed around 13:05 hours on Wednesday, February 10th. Khan said that she was sitting in her hammock on the veranda of her 2-story wooden and concrete home enjoying the afternoon breeze when a Toyota 212 motor car pulled up in front of her house. She added that a masked man with a knife exited the car and entered her yard. The bandit proceeded to drag her into her bedroom and started to ransack it in her presence. He found gold rings worth some $70,000 and pocketed them. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News.
And moving on, 59-year-old Franklin Smith, a father of two who reportedly went missing from his mining camp last Wednesday, was on Sunday afternoon discovered floating in the Peruni River by his workmates. Based on information received, the man's workmate told police that on Wednesday they left Smith at the camp cooking while they head to the work site, which is located 3 minutes away. Sometime later, around 17 hours 30, the workers recalled that when they returned to camp, they did not see Smith. An alarm was raised and they began searching the area, but he was not found. On the day of the discovery, around 16 hours, the father of two was found floating in the river and his body was already in an advanced state of decomposition. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 6. Coming up after the break, Guyana joins international declaration against arbitrary detention of foreign nationals. Harman closes door on commitment to oil press conference and says 2021 budget is a testimony to disarray in government but does not address specifics. Meanwhile, cop accused of raping sleeping woman and wife and hitman jailed 68 years for killing hairstyling blockmaker. Do stay tuned.
Guyana, please join me on the Glenn Lal Show, 99.1, 99.5, Kaieteur Radio, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m. just in case you missed that program.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Hugh Todd on Monday said that the government has joined an international declaration supported by scores of nations, the Declaration Against Arbitrary Detention in State-to-State Relations. This follows the recent release of Guyana's fishermen by the Venezuelan government after they were arrested by a Venezuelan military vessel off the Essequibo coast, which was enforcing claims the Bolivarian Republic has made on Guyana's territory. The government noted it would provide particular support for small nations, particularly vulnerable if the practice of arbitrary arrest, detention, and sentencing prevails. The initiative has received the support of nearly 60 countries so far.
And moving on, 4 months later, opposition leader Joseph Harman has closed the doors on the oil and gas specific press conference he promised to address the suspicious awards of the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks, among other pressing sector-related issues. Now, upon inquiring of Harman on whether he would follow through on his promise, he said the question was a recurring decimal. He went on to say that former Minister David Patterson had done a quote-unquote good job explaining their position on Kaieteur Radio. However, it should be noted that the forum did not touch matters pertinent to the giveaway of the Kaieteur and Kanji blocks. Additionally, while Harman dismissed the idea of the press conference, he had on other occasions stated that he was putting together a team for the same.
Still on opposition leader Joseph Harman, he yesterday deemed the recently presented 2021 national budget, and I quote, a testimony to disarray in government, without diving into specific issues. Dr. Ashni Singh, the senior minister with responsibility for finance in his budget speech, outlined several objectives to which the budget would address. Harman noted that he would provide a brief look at how those objectives are treated while the others would be addressed during the budget debates, but not before saying that the budget 2021 is mostly vacuous and meaningless. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News.
And moving on, a member of the Guyana Police Force is under close arrest after a report was made that he allegedly raped a woman who was reportedly intoxicated and asleep. According to a police report, the incident occurred around just after midnight on Monday last at Kamaka, Maruka, Region 1. The woman told the police that on February 15th, just after midnight, she became intoxicated and her female friend and the accused carried her home. She went on to say that her friend left her in the company of the accused, and just after midnight, while being in a semi-conscious state, she realized that the police officer was allegedly having sex with her.
Meanwhile, some 2 weeks ago, Some 2 weeks after, they both pleaded guilty to a crime of manslaughter. Beverly Prasad and Oswald Jr. Yaw have been handed a combined 68-year jail term for the crime. The sentence was imposed by Justice Navindra Singh, who ordered that they each serve 20 years before they became eligible for parole. Prasad was sentenced to 29 years in jail, while her co-accused, Oswald Jr. Yaw, was sentenced to 39 years in jail for the unlawful killing of blockmaker and father of four, Nathan Prasad, of Herstelling, East Bank, Demerara. In 2015, Beverly Prasad, who was married to the now deceased man, had hired Yaw and offered to pay him $1.7 million to murder her husband.
And on that note, we now head over to our COVID-19 update. According to Worldometer, the number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 110.1 million, with deaths at 2.4 million and recovery cases at 84.9 million. In Ghana, there are currently 8,262 cases, with deaths at 188 and active cases 588.
And now let's tell you, sourced by CNN, Novavax says its scientists are testing a new version of its COVID-19 vaccine that specifically targets the coronavirus variant first identified in South Africa. More evidence suggests the UK variant is linked to more severe disease. Researchers say more than 600,000 Americans will have died of the virus by June 1st, according to the latest prediction by a prominent forecast model.
And just before we wrap things up, let's head over to the Kaieteur newspaper, page 7, dedicated to bluntness. Guyana's vice president seems to think that he can substitute weekly press briefings, which the Guyana Press Association has called for, with his Once Upon a Blue Moon press conference at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. Bring back the weekly post-cabinet press briefings. This 3-month thing is not enough. The vice president also seems to think he can get away with speaking for just about all ministers on all issues, while some of these junior ministers have been hiding since taking office. Let them face the fire. That is how they will learn. And with that, we have come to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King.
Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today.